So we're looking today at how to make your pastor sound great on stage. I've had loads of people, actually quite a few pastors as well, inviting me to their churches saying, when I talk, I don't think I'm coming across well. I don't know how it's working, and I'm getting feedback. It sounds bad. It's different each week. Help. What can we do to fix this? And it's actually not that hard. It's just down to one simple thing, and that's called preparation. It's the key to pretty much every sound problem and many problems in life. Is if you prepare, it's going to work well. So let's look at what preparation you need to do for your pastor today. So the first one is, does it sound like me? There's loads of tests you can do, but just simply take the microphone, set everything flat, start from scratch and talk into it and sort of like make lots of noises, get the feel for it, and just walk around on stage and make sure that it sounds like you think you sound. It's really simple. It doesn't need to be clever, you don't need to do anything complicated. Just walk onto the stage, take the microphone and just talk. So you can just say a nursery rhyme, read something from the Bible, whatever you want to do, but just make sure that what you hear coming back from the monitors sounds like your voice. And there's maybe a few things you could use to check. You could check like the check those kind of frequencies are normal. You can maybe check there's no kind of honkiness, so like on those kind of noises, maybe it's a bit reverberant there. And you could check down the bass, the sort of and kind of frequencies, and ha and all of that kind of thing, and get a feel for what it sounds like on stage. And if there's anything that doesn't reflect what you're putting into that microphone that you're getting back, then we've got to make a change there. Now, we're not going to cover how to make that change now. That's something we're going to cover in the EQ sections and in tailoring your microphone. But this is an important test today. So then the second thing is, does it go quiet when you get quiet? It's a simple thing, but you'd be surprised that often people forget to check what the stage sounds like when it's quiet. So the first thing I do is simply walk onto the stage and just listen. It's amazing how many times you can hear buzzes, you can hear fan noise, you can hear things that's putting the pastor off. And when they get quiet, when they take a pause, you want that moment to be special and you want that moment to be heard, and you don't want some crazy buzz that's taking over the situation. So just listen, and then take the microphone and talk quietly. Again, just the same kind of thing, just literally say whatever you like, a nursery rhyme, just talk for a little bit and just make sure that when you're quiet, it's quiet as well. That's key. Then the third preparation test is to make sure that it's loud when you talk loud. And I'm listening for, there's probably 4 things here that I'm listening for. The first one is, it's not 4 things, it's about 3 things that I'm listening for. The first one is, if I shout really loudly, does it distort? So I'd literally go, ha, ha, those kind of noises and make it really loud. And you want to know, is that microphone going to distort? And if it crackles, if it breaks up, then you need to adjust your gain structure. The next one is, when I'm loud, does it hit me back? So does that monitor really come back at me? And you want it to slap you around the face. If you properly get into the mic and go, ho, ho, hello, hallelujah, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you want it to really hit you back. So make sure that when you're loud, it's loud. And a vital thing to remember here is, don't put compression. If you put compression on that monitor, when they talk, when they get into it, when they get loud, it'll really spoil that for them. And that's an important atmosphere you don't want to miss. So then the fourth thing is, does it feed back? It's a very, very simple thing to test, but maybe when the pastor kneels down, he wants to look at someone or talk to someone on the front row or something like that. If that microphone gets dipped right close to the monitors, what happens? Now you need to know this. You don't want to be caught this out by surprise. So test it. Kneel down, pop the microphone right by the monitors, point it into the monitors. Know your limits. Know how loud you can have it before it's going to feed back. So normally I would do 2 tests. I'd stand at the monitor and just gently dip it down, and that could easily happen just during the middle of the service. And then the second test is I get really close. Now normally I find is if I get really close, kneel down, it will feed back. So then I'd find out what level do I need to bring the monitor back to know that it won't feed back, even in close proximity. And then if the pastor does that, you know exactly where to change that monitor to, so it's bang on straight away. And then the fifth thing, this is the last thing that we're going to look at, is does it sound okay from front of house? Now, this might be a weird thing to think about from stage, but actually it's really important. And it's often in churches from 1,000 down, it's often a key thing in ensuring that you've got a great sound. So normally what I would do is my last test. So I've got everything sounding great on stage, and I know that when the pastor's there, he's going to love it. The next thing I do is take that same microphone, sit on the front row, turn all the main PA off, and see what the monitors sound like out front. And you'll be surprised, it'll sound really muffled, so you'll get a kind of a kind of sound. It's not going to be clear, it's not going to be good like it was on stage. But you've got to make sure that when you blend the PA into that muffled sound, that the end result sounds great. And if you can get those two blended together, maybe there's some time alignment things you need to think about. There's all various things to look at here. But if you can get those two blended together and sounding great, that's how you'll ensure you get a great sound out front as well. So that's our 5 things. Let's recap on that. So we're going to make sure it sounds like me. We're going to make sure it sounds great when it's quiet. Make sure it sounds great when it's loud. We're going to make sure that we never get feedback, and if something is going to happen that looks like we might, we know where we can take it to. And finally, we make sure it sounds great. Even if the monitors are loud, it sounds great out front. So I'm sure that's going to be really helpful for you. Put it into action this Sunday. Have a great day.